Well, actually, let me start with Congress, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Republicans hold the House, that practically doesn't, like, all this political stuff you talk about until the cows come home, or the goats, or the pigs, or whatever you guys have down there on that 40 acres. But what really matters is how this is going to play out for legislation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a good day for gun rights advocates then at the national level if Republicans take control of the House. Is that simple enough conclusion?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, just looking at it from a pragmatic perspective, it really doesn't matter if the majority is, 5 votes or 50, as long as the votes are there to block any gun control legislation, as long as the Republican leadership, is going to prevent any legislation from getting to the floor. So as long as you've got control of one chamber, I think you can stop the bad bills from moving forward. But it also allows you, an oversight footprint. And so, now the House Oversight Committee can start shining the light on what's going on with the ATF, which I think is going to be pretty important over the next couple of years. If the Republicans have control of the House, I think we've got a bit more of a watchdog in Congress, keeping an eye on the executive branch actions than we do, certainly, if Democrats are in control of those House committees. So that would be another benefit for Republicans taking control of the House, even, narrowly for gun owners, because I do think that if we see a split Congress, then all of a sudden the executive branch becomes the go-to place over the next 2 years for the gun control movement. Whenever they want to get something done in D.C., they're going to be asking Joe Biden to try to do it via regulation rather than legislation.
I will say, though, that that's what we expected to be the case when Republicans were able to get 50 seats in the Senate last time around, and we still ended up with a gun control bill because Republican senators ended up agreeing to do one. Although I don't know, do you think that House Republicans tend to be more conservative on the issue, though? And you can see that in the votes, but so maybe that's even more of a bulwark, the fact that they control. Then there's also the fact that Republicans had 50 seats but didn't actually control the Senate, and so they didn't set the agenda. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it is a pretty good conclusion that gun control bills are even less likely now than the previous Congress.
Yeah, and again, you're right. It's never a 100%, lock solid guarantee. But I do think that it is way less likely we're going to see anti-gun legislation advance in Congress if Republicans take control of the House. And again, I think, the added oversight that would be of huge benefit